Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Martin and we're back with Firefly. Last time on Firefly we had an interesting episode that sort of was a little bit off kilter from the rest of the series that I've seen. It was filmed in a really different way and it was kind of exploring why Mal has an affinity for the ship and the people around him and kind of what links them all together and what makes the whole thing kind of special and why it works. And it was filmed in a really different way to all the other episodes. It was like all really close and intimate. It was just a really interesting episode. I suspect we'll be getting into something a little bit more traditional Firefly. Not that that's a bad thing, because I've been really enjoying the show overall, but last week's episode to me was a bit of a special one. It felt very different and I don't know, it just felt like it had a lot of heart to it. But this time we're going to be jumping into something very different, I assume, and I'm looking forward to it. So let's do that, shall we? Without further ado, next episode of Firefly.
Could you please tell my wife the fun she's missing out on?
Ariel's quite a nice place, actually. There are some beautiful museums, not to mention some of the finest restaurants in the Corps.
You don't trust it.
Not
You don't trust anything with Alliance. And,
there's,
you know, after they shot her for as much long as they did, can't really blame her.
Present company excluded.
Alright, River's just picked up a knife. Let's keep an eye on her, shall we? What the? Why? What the fuck? Just that was the furthest thing from my mind that was about to happen. Yikes.
He looks better in red.
What the fuck does that even mean? What just happened?
This time little sister gets in a murdering mood. Might be you she comes calling on. Maybe Kaylee. Or Anara.
I mean,
you let them stay, we're gonna
after
find
what
out.
just happened, he's not making like a bad assumption.
She's getting worse.
What's tipping her over the edge? What's doing it?
Yes.
There must be a reason.
Anyone who can't find work ain't looking hard enough. We ain't even looking at all.
You can stop looking. There's a client. Me.
Oh, or
I
son.
have a job for you.
Okay, well this has been a roller coaster so far. I'm suspecting. I don't know why I always do this, suspecting stuff while the opening credits are going, but I figure Simon has a location where he might be able to learn more about what's going on with River. And so the job will be them breaking into said place. That's my assumption. That, or he lost a puppy somewhere and he's like, well, while we're here.
You help me get River into the hospital's diagnostic ward.
What's in the diagnostic ward?
A 3D neuroimager.
Okay, he wants to look at her
If I can
brain.
get River in there, I might...
You know, it's all very sweet, stealing from the rich, selling to the poor, but you're talking about breaking into a highly secure
Yeah,
facility.
yeah, no one's talking about that bit
Planning
yet.
around security.
Big hospitals mean big waste, so we shouldn't have any trouble finding what we're looking for.
Oh, I found it. It's this big thing over here.
You'll have to look like...
Simon's had this planned out for a little while, hasn't he? I feel like he's had this all in his head for quite some time. But you can also see how he managed to get River out in the first place. It's kind of demonstrating his ability to come up with a plan.
Neural had the cortical electrodes, but we're unable to get a neural reaction from either. Unable to get a neural.
I'm betting they're going to memorize all this shit and they're not going to need any of it.
You two did an incredible job.
And now for the finishing touch.
I mean, this is really fucking impressive that they managed to put all this together.
Now we need a couple of patients.
Corpses, actually. For this to work, River and I will have to be dead.
I don't want to do it.
I know.
I don't want to go to that place. I don't want to die.
No one...
I mean, you can understand her reservations, that's
The others
damn
will
sure.
take care of us while
Wait. Were River and Simon just hanging off the side of that ship on the way here? They were just like on the least secure looking brackets on the side of a like aircraft. That's insane. That's the worst part of this whole plan.
What do you got?
Got a couple DOAs by the time we got
Take
there.
him down to the morgue.
Yep, knew it. Fucking knew it. They didn't need any
We
of
applied the
that.
cortical electrodes, but we're unable to get a neural reaction from either patient.
He wanted to say his bit. He memorized that. God damn it.
I'm in.
Is he double crossing him? This fucker?
Got my reward?
Yes. Just like we talked about?
Then I got your fugitives.
Good. We'll see you shortly. Congratulations. You're about to become a very rich man.
I don't buy this. I think there's more to this than what I'm seeing. I don't buy it. If it's true, then fuck knows how the rest of these episodes are going to go, because I don't think anyone's going to look kindly on it.
This is where patients come to get better.
Going to die.
No one is going to die.
Morbid as ever,
He
River.
is.
No, he's not. Just in the
I'm
system.
so confused at whether or not she
This is one of the top hospitals in the
can tell the
corridor
future,
anywhere.
or if she's
you should
just extremely empathetic in some cases, and she, like, I don't feel like I fully grasp what her power actually is.
And what did you give him?
Just 20 of our Praise-Lean push.
Fuck it. It's great to see Simon in his fucking element here, just like, this is why he's good at what he does. But that guy feels like a fucking fool now.
Don't get comfortable. Your type doesn't last long here. When your supervisor hears about the rude and disrespect...
That'll work.
Clear.
As if they went there. Fuck's sake. Everything is going too smoothly right now. When I thought it was going to go bad with that doctor, it didn't. Things continue to move along smoothly.
They opened up her skull and they cut into her brain.
What did they do, Simon? Tell me what they did.
They did it over and over.
Yikes.
They stripped her amygdala. Your amygdala is what lets you do that. It's like a filter in your brain that keeps your feelings in check. She feels everything. She can't not.
Extreme empathy. I mean, I assume
No, I can't go back.
the
I don't wanna
police
go back.
are on their way
It's okay,
because
we're just
Jane
going back to the
called
ship.
them.
We're almost home.
But I feel like he might be having regrets, so he's trying to move them out quicker.
Federal marshals, don't move!
Or not. Maybe I was completely wrong about that. Fucking Jane. Knew he'd caused trouble somewhere in the show.
So, you gonna take me away for questioning now? How you gonna play it?
You're under arrest for aiding and abetting federal fugitives.
Yeah,
Better get a
what?
lawyer.
Why did he trust them, you fucking fool?
You mean my money?
I'm also quite certain your superior wants me and my sister alive. Now, I'm not going to move from this spot until one of two things happens. You answer my very simple question, or you shoot me.
I mean, that's not what made him.
Transferring you to a holding area until you can be retrieved. People who want you alive. People, not me. Take them.
What? This little bitch boy just called out and he still tried to act tough about it. People, not me. I don't like you. Damn.
We'll find our way.
I ain't chancing that. I can handle the feds.
Doesn't matter. They're here.
Well, that's not creepy at all.
Gentlemen, that was prompt. We're almost finished.
Is it the blue hand people? The blue hands?
Beyond a minute. Let me get the paperwork together for you. Bobby, bring that here.
It is.
Not that it'll
Creepy
mean
blue
much.
hands.
The men were,
You spoke to the prisoners.
well, yeah. Had to process them. There was no interrogation, if that's what you mean. Didn't do your job for you,
Did your men also speak with them?
much as they had to.
Are you gonna kill all of them? Yep, there he is. I mean, it's weird that they're acting surprised by the fact that they spoke to them, though. Yes, we arrested them, but we didn't speak. That's gross, by the way. That's fucking... Ugh! Ugh. Look like a fucking 28-day later zombie. It didn't affect them though, so were they wearing earbuds or
Hands, move.
something? Or were they weird? Or were they weirdos?
Hands.
That thing's cool.
Xinjiao High-Tech Alliance crap.
I mean, I thought it was cool. Oh, hello. But that is a whole lot more effective, in fairness.
He was amazing. I can't even begin to tell you. We wouldn't be standing here if it weren't for him.
Oh my god.
Thank you.
At least it looks like
Cry.
he's slightly getting eaten by guilt.
Make yourselves useful. You got jobs.
Sort of on his face, a little bit.
What are you buying with your cut?
Oh, I fucking knew Mal would fucking figure that shit out. Like, why? Why would they just randomly show up? Yikes! This.
But what I can't figure out is what you were doing around the back exit.
What? I got pinched.
Which is what happens when you call the feds.
Yep. Yep. I mean, it doesn't take too much working out.
It ain't like I ratted you
God.
out to the feds.
I mean, he's got to be taught a lesson.
You turn on any of my crew, you turn on me. But since that's a concept you can't seem to wrap your head around, then you got no place here.
He's been needing this lesson for a while.
Make something up. Don't tell him what I did.
The next time you decide to stab me in the back,
Have the guts to do it to my face.
I mean, that is Mal's code.
It's time to wake up.
I mean, hopefully he knows what he can do to help now. At least understand why she acts the way she does. We'll see, I suppose. Alright, that was the reaction, guys. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button so this video gets seen by other people. And leave a comment down below. Maybe consider subscribing if you did enjoy it so you don't miss any future stuff. But for now, we're going to get into a discussion about this episode. Okay, episode 9. Pretty much the polar opposite of last week's episode in that this was big heist movie with like personal stakes inserted into it. Really interesting. I really liked that they did that they took the approach of having a very small, contained, intimate episode and then put it up against something that was a lot bigger, involved sort of some of the bigger plot elements that have been going through the show thus far, and you know, just bigger. Like, this is some of the, like, this feels like one of the more expensive episodes overall. Like, they were on location, they obviously had some bigger sets built, or they went somewhere and built a set inside it and all that kind of stuff. So this episode felt like it had a big scope to it, and overall felt very different in style because all the locations we've seen thus far have been either like your traditional sort of old west town converted into something a little bit with a sci-fi edge, or it's been like the outskirts of a city, or you know, all that kind of stuff. This time we actually got to saw like inner city, built up areas and interacting with that world within the hospital and sort of technology and all that stuff. Everything we've been dealing with thus far has been sort of run down, like hand put back together bits of technology and a bit clunkier. This time we got all the sleeker and more like expensive looking stuff, and it's interesting to see these characters who we've only really been seeing interacting with that other stuff going into this kind of world in a much more direct, and it feels like there are stakes for the characters, like going into a world that they actively try to avoid so much, and that had been set up in all the previous episodes that there is a reason that they normally keep away from these places. So it instantly feels like there are stakes of what could go wrong going into the situation, which I liked quite a lot. Now, obviously, the two biggest sort of character development, story progression parts to this episode were sort of Simon having a better understanding of what was going on with River. Like, I think we kind of got an idea now that it is that part of her brain has been stripped away from her, so she is just extremely empathetic, like dialed up to 1,000,000 to everything around her. And maybe that's part and parcel with sort of innate abilities that she has already, and the reason they removed that part of her brain was to exacerbate it. So there is no filter, as Simon kind of says, that she can now do all this crazy stuff without anything getting in the way. That was probably why they decided to remove that part of her brain. But it's had this effect now where she, because it seems like River is such an innately good person, her empathies are like reaching out towards people in a way that they probably didn't expect to happen. And it's interesting, the bit at the start where she sort of attacked Jane. Is it weird to think maybe she knew what he was going to do, or something like that, or I don't know. There's all sorts of things. I mean, I didn't quite I don't know if I just didn't notice what it was, or if it was just that Simon was getting wound up by Jane, so that's why she lashed out at him, or what it might have been. Like, I feel like there's multiple options that could have caused that to happen, but I'm very interested in the fact that now Simon has a better idea of what's going on with her and how to treat her, to see if that might affect how her character goes from this point onwards, if he's going to be sort of treating her with stuff to help her and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just generally interested to see how that's going to develop further, and if it does, I mean, we've only got 5 episodes left to go, so we'll see how much of that we'll get. And also, as part of that, we got to see sort of the Blue Hand Man group show up again. I think last time we saw them was the first episode or second episode, something like that. And we finally got to see them again, and they seem to have this weapon, like fucking Iron Man, bleed out your ears weapon thing, which was pretty gruesome. Interesting that it didn't seem to affect them. I didn't notice them having like earbuds or anything in to sort of prevent it from affecting them. It looked like they were just sort of normal ones. For some reason that weapon just didn't have any effect on them. I don't know. I'd hope we get to learn a little bit more about those guys in the future episodes, but who knows. But yeah, just interested in how that whole plot is going to develop as we keep going through this next batch of episodes. And then obviously the other big part of this episode is Jane finally sort of cracking and following the money, as it were, and actively selling out Simon and River to the feds, and obviously in turn betraying the crew, betraying Mal, and we saw that come up to a head at the end of the episode. I'm certainly interested to see how that's going to affect the future episodes, because obviously Mal from this point is not going to be trusting him. He's going to be keeping him on a very short leash and seeing whether or not it's worth keeping him around. So I'm interested to see how that's going to go. It was very interesting trying to read Jane throughout the episode, like trying to get a hit on, does he feel guilty about this? Is he regretting this, or does he just feel stupid for having trusted the feds for this? Like, it was hard to kind of tell whether or not, as the episode progressed, whether he was feeling guilty about selling them out, or he was just annoyed at the fact that he felt like he got duped, by the feds, and that they were just going to arrest him as well, which is kind of the obvious thing that they would do, and that was kind of annoying him. It's interesting. It's especially since we've had, I feel like, a couple of episodes now sort of delving into James' sort of philosophy and how he thinks about things, and I feel like, maybe that's tampering with how I'm seeing his reactions to as things developed. Like, you could see that he was kind of disturbed by the stuff that he learned that they'd done to River. Like there was something in him that didn't agree with what had happened to her, but he just didn't know how to emote it or say anything about it. And maybe he was just preoccupied by the fact that he was trying to sell them out. I don't know. It's just interesting that we've had these episodes sort of showing Jane's sort of emotional involvement with these events sort of growing, and then we get this episode where he actively tries to sell them out. I mean, I thought there was going to be more to it, like there was going to be a double cross, but no, he just straight up sold them out, wanted to get the money. And I felt like, in a weird way, it was like a long time coming, because Jane's always been this kind of like, he hasn't got his head, like Mal sort of says here, he doesn't get his head around the fact that he's like loyal to Mal, and he's loyal to money and he's like loyal to Mal to a degree, but he doesn't understand the fact that the crew is like an extension of Mao. So if you betray any one of them, you're betraying him, and you're betraying his trust and everything that he puts down. And I mean, hopefully Jane has learned his lesson here. We'll see. But it's interesting. It's just another extension of that character that, like I say, I think it was a long time coming for him to sort of break and do something this kind of stupid. I've been kind of expecting it to happen at some point, but now it's happened. I feel like it has created an interesting push forward for where the rest of this could go. But like I say, we've only got 5 episodes or whatever to go, so I don't know if it's going to get resolved or not. It's going to be interesting to see if Jane tries to redeem himself in any way, and if that redemption works out for him or not. That's going to be an interesting little journey if we get it in these next few episodes. But yeah, other than that, I did really enjoy this. I liked how opposite it was to the previous episode. It was just big and ballsy, if I could talk properly. And yeah, like I say, a big heist movie sort of compacted into an episode of Firefly, and yeah, just hugely enjoyable. And yeah, a good old time this episode. I feel like they sort of tried to go big here. Some of the effects have dated a little bit. This doesn't look as good as some of the previous episodes, in my opinion. Some of the CG was kind of flat looking and didn't have much of a texture or reflection to it. But context of when this went out originally, and TV budgets and all that kind of stuff. Honestly, it still impresses me that the show looks as good as it does, considering all those factors. And this was really the first episode that sort of looked, yeah, there's a few janky bits here and there, but I can take it as the context as what it was when it first aired, so that's fine. It's just interesting that this is the first episode that I feel like truly had a few little wonky bits. But as I say, I feel like this was the episode where they really tried to go a little bit all out. So there we go. That was the episode. I enjoyed it. Good times. Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up button. It helps this video get seen by other people and all that good stuff. Consider subscribing so you don't miss any future content, and there's a bunch of other content on the channel for you to go check out, so please do that as well. I will be very appreciative of that. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will catch you on the next one.